Hello everyone, and welcome to the third episode of Plebdev Diaries. I am Hangin, the art guy for Plebdev Studio, and this episode is going to be a chill one where I talk a little about the gameplay design of our game Socketpunch. I also wanted to show off some of the cool new features that have been added to the game since our last video. So make sure you sit down and get comfy, because we have lots of great stuff to go over. First off though, make sure you check out the previous videos if you haven't. They go a bit into what it is we have done up until now, and will bring you up to speed to where we are. I also want to mention that for the first time since I began this series, my friends are actually here. But sorry to say, will not be joining us for this video. So, to get on with it, the core concept and gameplay design for Socketpunch is relatively simple. You play an angry droid who is placed in the middle of a square arena that in our case is a side slab with multiple entrances. Your health bar just so happens to also be your stamina bar, meaning that when you punch, or jump, or do anything, your health declines. The purpose of this is to force you to manage and balance your actions, putting you on edge by adding a challenging stress element. To counteract and balance this, the arena has multiple charging stations where you can heal and recharge your health bar. This forces the player to move around the level to heal up, and helps achieving a nice flow to the game. The game will play for a set amount of time, and is split up into rounds. During the span of the game, the difficulty will be increased by adding more and more dangerous types of enemies. These unique enemies help add variety to the game and make it more replayable. To give the player an incentive to even fight these enemies, instead of just running away and healing, destroying the enemies will give both score points and experience points. These points benefit the player in multiple ways. The experience points can be used to purchase new abilities and upgrade a player, making it more fun to play. And the score points will simply be added to your high score, giving you bragging rights over your friends, who just so happen to have their high score conveniently shown in the corner. Your high score will be determined by multiple variables. 1. How long you survived, 2. How many enemies you have killed, and 3. Your difficulty multiplier. The difficulty multiplier is an interesting new, unique mechanic that we have created for Socketpunch. The difficulty is an upgrade the player can choose himself. And by upgrading the difficulty, the enemies become stronger and harder to beat, and the level will spawn more harder enemies. The bright side is that by making the game harder for yourself, you are rewarded with more score points and also more experience points. This means that you can jump straight into the action if that's what you're interested in, or you can take it easy if that's more to your liking. As you have probably noticed, standing still is a sure death sentence in Socketpunch. We hope this adds a hectic feeling, creating lots of action. And the constant movement helps create this feeling of you being a badass robot jumping around the map, fighting endless hordes of enemies. It all seems so simple to do when you just read the design document, but as always, reality rears its ugly head and makes everything difficult and tedious. Luckily though, these last few weeks we have been making huge progress, and most of the programming systems are now in place. All the upgrades have been added, so we now have tons of new cool abilities, giving you the tools needed to cause mass destruction all across the map. The level assets are now mostly done, and the level is starting to actually look good. They have also been made destructible, making the map more dynamic, and giving physical feedback to the player's actions. The enemies are now all animated, and running around behaving just as mean and annoying as they're supposed to. And Cymix has also made multiple performance upgrades, making it so we can have literal hundreds of enemies on screen at once, without even impacting the FPS too much. And I think the coolest thing that has happened yet so far is the game is turning out really fun. I've caught myself playtesting the game far too long instead of doing what I'm actually supposed to do. And Socketpunch is now actually really enjoyable. There's just something really satisfying flying around the map, beating up swaths of enemies with your superpowers. And this is a really healthy sign, as making a game that is fun is the best thing you can hope for in game development. So, all in all, things are looking pretty great. If you enjoyed watching our video and you're looking forward to watching us continue our work, make sure you subscribe so you're informed about our next episode. We still have plenty of cool stuff to do and show, and hopefully soon we will be making a Steam page so people can wishlist our game. So if you are curious about what numbers we get, make sure to press that subscribe button. And that was it. Thanks for watching.